say?
You won.
I watching it again. He did. Seth,
Got
you
it.
believe he won?
No, not really.
You can't. Yes, you can.
As you can see, it was a very emotional day for the Big Motor Small Blade household. Daniel Suarez is a cup winner. I've been trying to manifest this all fucking season long.
Yeah, you picked him, what, 3 times now?
Twice. I can only pick him twice.
Shut up, buddy.
Yeah, and we've been talking about how great Trackhouse is. I've been saying Daniel's right there. Daniel's right there for weeks and weeks and weeks. And finally, he breaks through. Of course, the week I don't pick him. And he's a cup winner. Trackhouse Racing has built a juggernaut of an organization.
Yeah, I mean,
in a year and a half time.
Sure.
Yeah, like that's insane. Obviously, we'll talk a lot about that. That'll probably be the bulk of the video in the episode, but we'll go ahead and get into some other topics before we get into that. Martin Truex Jr. supposedly retiring, possibly, maybe.
Whenever he makes his decision, I guess.
Wow, great insight there, Seth. Yeah,
I'm coming at you with the
hard hitting
takes.
Yeah, he said in the offseason if he didn't like the car, he'd probably hang it up. He seems to be the only one that doesn't like the car.
I mean, it sounded like Kyle Busch doesn't like it much either, but
Kyle Busch don't like anything.
That's true.
I mean,
Kyle Busch probably doesn't like his wife. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I think he does.
I think he does. Yeah.
I think he might just a little bit.
Just a wee bit.
No, I mean Martin Truex. I think he's just looking for an excuse to retire. I think he's over it. I think he's been over it, and I think this is an excuse for him.
I mean,
he's not running fantastic right now. Tends to happen when your heart's not in it. So yeah, I mean, I don't think he's I don't think his heart's in it anymore, and that's why here's my thing. If you're already talking about it that seriously, just do it.
Yeah.
Because clearly, like, you're not all there. Like, he's fallen off the wagon really ever since Cole Pearn left. I mean, they won one race in 2020. They won quite a few races last year.
When did Cole leave? 19.
End of 19. Yeah. Like I said, won one race in 2020 after being maybe a championship favorite in 19, or at least one of them.
Yeah.
And then last year, won 4 races. He was in the championship 4, but he was never that guy.
Yeah.
Like, he was kind of like, he snuck into the championship 4, but he was definitely not the guy last year. Denny was definitely better than the Gibbs guys all along. And it just, you could tell, you can look at Martin, you could tell just at his facial expressions that he's not into it anymore.
Yeah. He looks checked out.
Yeah. And to be fair, I mean, he's had a long career. I mean, he's been in the sport since early 2000s, won 2 Busch titles, kind of came into Cup at a bad time when DEI was collapsing. And between that and then the MWR thing, I mean, they're finally getting their shit together, and then it all came crashing down, and then Furniture Row, and then obviously Sherry with her issues. So, I mean, he's had maybe a shorter career as far as longevity wise than some people, but as far as like emotional and stress, he's probably had it worse than most of the field. So, yeah. I mean,
You
And
could make a fucking movie on Martin Truex Jr. and
You
it'd
could,
be pretty
and
entertaining.
there's nothing he can hang his hat on about. Like, I mean, he's had a hell of a career. I mean, he's got an amazing comeback story. What he was able to do with Furniture Row was amazing. Like nothing short of like incredible. I mean, we all witnessed it. Like, oh my God, they went from nothing, and Martin Truex was nothing, and then all of a sudden they won a championship.
Yeah, they had like
convincingly.
They had like one top 5 in 2014, and 3 years later they won the title.
Yeah, like
that's ridiculous.
And it was literally like, this is how, like the storyline was in 2014. This is how Martin Truex fades out of NASCAR right here. This is him fading away into nothing, and he came back. So thanks, Happy. You're making me sniffly. I'm not crying about Martin Truex leaving. Trust me. But I mean, yeah, he's had a hell of a career.
Yeah, whether you like the guy or not, you got to respect the hell out of him.
Yeah,
the resiliency,
exactly.
Throughout the entire career, the career and the personal life, and to culminate all that in an 8-win championship season is incredible. And he deserves his eventual spot in the Hall of Fame just due to being a champion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he deserves
I think honestly, if I were him, I'd just go ahead and announce it. Give it. I mean, he's got quite a fan base. Go ahead and give him some time to digest this, and give him a good send off, because I mean, he deserves it. But maybe he goes another year. But in my opinion, if the talk is already this serious, go ahead and go. I mean, we all know who's knocking at the door to take that seat, or take a seat at Gibbs. And it's coincidental that these talks of Martin Truex retiring went cold for a while. Now they've ratcheted up ever since JGR put out that thing that, hey, we're close to getting a sponsor for Kyle. And it's like, now all of a sudden Martin Truex is talking about retiring again. It's just, I think it's kind of the inevitable that grandpa's golden child is gonna take the seat. So
I wonder if this opens up an opportunity for a guy like Noah Gragson to get in the 16 car at Kaulig, because I don't see Bass Pro Shop staying at Gibbs. They're loyal to their own like specific drivers.
That's very true. It could. I don't know. It's kind of up to Kaulig. I think Kaulig likes the kind of superstar lineup that they got in the 16, like having a couple different drivers. I think AJ likes doing it. I don't know if they're ready to jump to 3 teams, but
they could try and get a third charter. You never know.
Yeah, they could.
I don't know what's open.
And that's many months down the road. But yeah, that's definitely a good point as far as Bass Pro Shops go.
Yeah.
I mean, because they've kind of backed off Austin Dillon a little bit ever since they've gotten back into Noah Gragson.
Yeah.
Or gotten into Gragson. So yeah, it'll be silly seasons afoot. It is upon us, and it's just gonna ratchet up. I don't know of any other moves that really are going to be made. I feel like that's going to be the big domino to fall, and I think we already know who's going to take the seat. So
yeah, I mean, there's not like a whole lot of big spots open this year.
Yeah, I mean, if Kurt decides he's going to hang it up, that could be something.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
and it's hard to get a gauge on Kurt, because it was always
Kurt.
With Kurt, it was always, I want to run at least a year in the next gen car, but like he hasn't given me any reason to think he's gonna leave after this.
No,
year.
He hasn't, and I don't think 2311 is shy about keeping him. So
no, they'll keep him as long as he wants to be there, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, getting into the actual race, Kyle Larson won his 95th pole at fucking Sonoma this weekend. Looked like early that he might do what he did last year, just absolutely obliterate the field and just bend the whole field over and show him the goods.
Yeah,
but it didn't happen. What happened to your boy?
They thought it was 2021 and that they could drive all the way through the field, and that's just not doable anymore.
Yeah,
Maybe at a
Um,
track like Charlotte, but not at Sonoma.
yeah, that was. I mean, yeah, they give some context. He's instead of pitting before the end of stage one, which was the winning strategy. I mean, and that's how it typically always goes. You can either go for stage wins or you can go for, the win, the actual race win.
Yeah.
And, we see this every now and then. It kind of be on the fence when you're the leader. But Kyle Larson's in the playoffs. He doesn't need stage points. It was kind of a questionable move. I mean, because last year it was a little bit different. They pulled the same strategy last year. They won stage one, but they were able to drive through the field, like you said. But this car and the field is so much more stacked this year than it was last year. So, I mean, it was kind of a mind-boggling call why they didn't do this.
Yeah.
I mean, Cliff.
I mean, it's like Kyle's
They
clearly great at Sonoma. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he showed that yesterday. He put it on pole. They drove away from Chase Elliott. Like, he's clearly really good there. It's probably one of his top 3 best tracks, I'd argue. But they only drove away by a couple seconds. It's not like last year where they could drive away by however many.
Yeah.
But
they're not as dominant as they were last year. And I think they underestimated that.
You can't be.
Yesterday.
You can't be as dominant as you were
not.
last year, because not only because of championship hangover, which seems like they're having a little bit of championship hangover, but you just don't have the advantage on the field car wise that you used to.
Yeah.
Like, is the driver still great? Absolutely. Is he making some mistakes? Yeah, absolutely. But is the crew chief making some mistakes? Some. Yeah, crew chief's making some mistakes. I would go into battle for Cliff Daniels. The dude could talk me into anything, but that was dumb.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was a questionable move. I think they learned from that though. I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they can learn from that.
Or maybe they don't. I don't know. But yeah, it was weird because it was like him and Chase kind of really had him covered.
Yeah.
And yeah, they both pitted, or Chase pitted, didn't he? Did Chase? Yeah, Chase pitted. Chase pitted at the end of stage one. Kyle obviously won the stage, and that was kind of where the seas parted, and it kind of became Chase Elliott's race to lose it, honestly. And then he did the same strategy at the end of stage two. Nothing much really happened at this race. And this is something that I've been talking. Sonoma, if you're a fan of, if you're a racer at heart and you're not worried about entertainment, Sonoma's the track for you. If you like action and entertainment, Sonoma ain't it.
Well, it's so odd because about 10 years ago, Sonoma was the place for the action and the craziness.
It's weird. It's done this flip flop. It was like back when everybody like hated road courses because they're NASCAR doesn't need to be on road courses. Sonoma was awesome. And as soon as we're like, dude, we need more road courses, it was like Sonoma like did this weird flop where Sonoma like stopped being as entertaining as it used to be just because guys got better at it.
Yeah. I mean,
I think that's all that is.
Yeah, I mean, I love Sonoma to death. I'm not gonna beat around the bush on that one. I love Sonoma to death. It's a great track for me. I love, like, I'm so glad they brought the chute back because that 4A to 5-7 complex, that's my favorite set of corners.
See, I don't know. I wonder if the carousel would have been decent with the next gen car.
I think it would have been decent. I didn't have a problem with the carousel. I've always loved that set of corners. Now, I don't think it's the same now with the chute just because the cars drive so good now. Yeah. And that was partly my concern with next gen on road courses is cup racing on road courses was always about the fact that these cars are not designed to do this. And these guys are having to force these things to do this. And we ended up with a fun race at Coda, albeit way too long. I mean, but we ended up with a great race at Coda. But now we've gotten to Sonoma, and it was okay. Like, I thought it was fine as a race. Like, it was boring, but I
definitely watched... The winner definitely made the show. Yeah, it definitely made the race, but it's kind of the feeling I've gotten from Sonoma the past really 5 or 6 years. I can't really remember the last time I watched Sonoma and was like, wow, that was a really good race.
I mean, I'm definitely biased, but I thought watching the 5 and the 9 kind of duke it out and the 5 run through the field last year, I thought that was really entertaining. But
You
again,
kind of knew what was
biased.
going to happen. Yeah.
I didn't. I thought they were pulling a terrible strategy last year, and then
Well, yeah, because you don't believe in Kyle until you do.
yeah, don't anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't, like I said, I can't really remember it. I think 16 might have been the last time that I can remember Sonoma just being a banger. Oh, whoa. What happened in 2016 or 2017? They added stages.
Yeah.
That's
who even won in 16? I don't remember.
Tony Stewart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Something I noticed, there weren't as many die bombs as I thought there was going to be. I thought with the brake package, them having, was it 30% more braking power than they did with the old car? Something like that. I thought there was going to be way more die bombs in the 7 and 11.
Well,
and there were not.
Well, here's the thing is that the guy they're trying to pass can also drive that far into the corner.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
That's part of the issue. That's why I was a little bit worried about road course racing. That's why I was worried about short track racing before all this, before we got to it. I mean, I told you beforehand.
Well,
I was worried about road courses.
What you're saying. I mean, I guess I get what you're saying because cars drive better. They have better brakes, but I mean, everybody still has the same stuff as the other guy.
Yeah, but I mean, we saw it at Martinsville. Yeah. Everybody had the same stuff, and obviously, I'm not comparing this to Martinsville.
I think
this is way better than that. But
no, but this is definitely Sonoma's been compared as the Martinsville of road courses, and I think this kind of it was definitely. I think where's the next road course we're going to? Is it Watkins Glen?
It should be Road America.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see what Road America and Watkins Glen give us. Because I think both of those are a little bit higher speed road courses. I think we could do without the diffuser on road courses too. That could be one. Short tracks and road courses. Do like we did the 750 package, big better small blade package. Yeah. Where we didn't have where we take the diffuser off at certain tracks. Cause I think that definitely hurt because dirty air was was a big factor today.
I mean, you saw the 5 get up to about 10th and they didn't go anywhere from there.
Yeah. But I think that's lack of talent.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I think the diffuser had a lot to do with it. Cause I mean, you could pass the leader. It definitely wasn't impossible. But it was like you said, it was harder to get through traffic. And that's another product of how good the next gen cars drive on road courses is everyone's got a better piece. So it's going to be harder because everybody's going to be better. Whereas a guy like Kyle Larson, who probably the best road course racer in the field, give him, like I keep saying, give him a couple years and he's going to prove that to you. If he hadn't already, Chase. But anyway, yeah, he's probably the best road racer in the field. But when everybody has a car that drives so good, you're not going to see that as much. So yeah, I get what you're saying there. I
mean, it's just
we'll see what happens.
It's something we're gonna have to get used to because, like, IndyCar, we've been used to it for years. Like, you can be like Scott Dixon's the best driver in IndyCar. He only wins 3 to 5 races a season typically because every car is the same. What the fuck is that? That is a mouse.
Wow.
Okay.
Nice. Fuck yeah.
Fantastic. I'm going to deal with that later.
All right.
I just looked over and saw something jump. I was like, what the ever-loving crap is that? Anyway.
Is it the mouse that's on Daniel Suarez's pit sign?
Probably not.
He's got Speedy Gonzalez on his pit
I mean,
sign.
dude,
is that what it is? Is Speedy Gonzalez in your house?
Actually, you know what? It had a big head.
Him.
I'm not going to be able to grab a mouse.
Happy.
I've tried 1,000 times.
Happy sitting right here. Go get him, Happy.
Anyway, okay, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, IndyCar and cars being the same.
Yeah, that's what worries me. IndyCar doesn't have a good product right now at all. Like, I'm sorry.
I
They
agree,
don't.
but we've shown we do have a good product most of the time.
Yeah. I would like to see him next year with these cars. I think maybe one, or maybe even later this year with some of the road courses later in the year. I think that I think we'll see the top tier drivers kind of rise to the top. Not that they didn't today, like Chase or yesterday. Chase and Kyle were the class of the field early in the race, but Kyle got off on strategy. Chase Elliott, we'll talk about it in a second. They
made a
they kind
boo-boo.
of had things happen, and they couldn't get back up through there, and they didn't have that gap that they had last year over everybody else. So I'd like to see it next year and see if it changes, if those guys who are traditionally just up in arms better than everyone else on the road courses, if they kind of come back to life once the cars get figured out and whatnot with the road courses.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much said that, and it's starting to happen. It's starting to happen. The smaller teams would be a whole lot closer when we first started with this, and that was on display. And the big teams are still going to be the big teams at the end of the day. They have the best engineers, they have the best crew chiefs, best drivers.
That's the thing, though. It's like, yeah, I just made that point, but then also in thinking about it, I mean, you look at the guys that were strong today. I mean, or yesterday, McDowell was up there pretty much all day. I mean, yeah, he's always been solid on road courses, but he's never been top 5 on road courses. Chris Buescher, another one.
Some of that did require the top guys to kind of take themselves out of
contention. Yeah, but you
though.
Look at it. Buescher was up there all day. I mean, but we always see some of the top guys take each other out. And these guys still don't rise to the occasion. They did today, and I feel like they were in a better position.
I mean, that's how 10 years ago Marcos Ambrose won 2 races. Was he good? Absolutely. The dude is a fantastic road course racer.
I don't know. Marcus kind of dominated both of those.
Yeah, but you put anybody else in that car, they're not going to do that.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, well,
that's my point. The point is that the car wasn't as much to do with the car back then because the guys weren't as good.
Well, I mean, same guys are in the cars that were in there last year that didn't do nearly as well as they did, or did way better than they did in previous years. So I think the car, I still think we have a lot of parity in this car, and I'm not seeing a big. Well, I'm not seeing Hendrick, and I'm not seeing Gibbs like pull away. Gibbs was nowhere in this race.
Yeah, Gibbs was nowhere.
They were nowhere.
For what it's worth, I never thought the driver talent disparity was as wide as some people did. I thought there's always been talent all the way up and down the Cup field, and you have your handful of guys who don't know what the hell they're doing and need to get off the track. But like,
I don't know.
I feel like this was inevitable, but still the big teams are going to figure it out and get there by the end of the day.
Definitely haven't yet, though.
No, not quite, but they're getting closer. Because I mean, the 5 teams.
I don't know.
5 teams been fast a handful the past few weeks. Like Gateway, they sucked, but like they should have won the 600. They could have won this week. The 9 teams been pretty solid all season, I think.
Yeah, but they weren't there. There's a lot of holes in your theory right now. There's a lot of holes in your theory. Kyle Larson should not have won the 600. He did not have the best car. He had like probably the 3rd or 4th best car.
Okay, fine.
In that race.
He could have won the 600. We've known Daniel Suarez is really good for a long time. We've known this. He just needed to get in a good situation, and now they're taking advantage of it with the next gen car. They're going to be a great organization. We're going to be in.
If y'all notice, Seth is like going all the way around here to get back to the same point that I'm already making.
Fair enough.
Yes.
I already said.
Anyway,
never mind. Whatever.
Anyway, turning point of the race. Give a call back to the guy at Darlington in episode 1. This was the actual turning point in the race, was when Chase Elliott had a problem. They leave the wheel loose, and Chase leaves, but only gets about halfway out the box, and they call him back. But he backs up, but doesn't back up enough. And they don't tell him to back up enough.
Yeah.
And they put the tire back on with the whole nose sticking out the front of the box, and he gets a drive through. This is not the first time we've seen this happen.
No.
I mean, not this exact situation, but we saw it Richmond last year. He made his own executive decision that he needed to back up in the box, even though he wasn't over the line, and he totally fucked him out of winning that race at Richmond.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be something. Like, people want to give Alan Gustafson so much shit. Dude, that pit crew sometimes is very questionable. Well, this was kind of on Alan, too. He should have told Chase to back up. They should have gotten him back up. But Chase Elliott's made some questionable fucking decisions on pit road as well.
Absolutely.
But that whole team is a clusterfuck on pit road right now. And it's weird because that pit crew won him the championship in 2020, basically. So, they got to figure that out. Because, I mean, he had the car to win, especially after Larson screwed himself.
They've been unacceptably bad for the past 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And
they have. I'll give you that, Chase Nation.
Chase hasn't helped in, like you said, this is at least the second situation where Chase has not helped.
I feel like it's not even the second, but yeah.
Probably more. But
I'm not even trying to just rag on Chase. I feel like there's another time. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. But again, still, like, he just backed up a little. It would take 2 seconds for the crew chief to go, hey, guy, back up farther.
It was way less costly for him to take the time to back all the way up than it was for him to not back up, to put the wheel back on and then go and then come back around and take the penalty.
Yeah.
Like, that was.
But, I mean, they should have just had the wheel on right the first time.
That too. It takes way less time than either of those things to just get the wheel on right. I don't know where Chase ended up finishing.
I think it was top 10, but
it wasn't a win.
No.
And that was what they're going for there.
Yeah.
So Chase has his problem. Kyle Larson, we documented already that he wheel loose, whatever, or not wheel loose. He made the wrong strategy. And then there's the old strategy that 8 tires are better than 4. 3 tires definitely is not better than 4.
No, not in a car.
Not typically. And it didn't work today. The jury's still out on it, but it did not work today. Yesterday. Kyle Larson, a wheel goes flying off. Cliff Daniels going to take a nice vacation.
I mean, I'm guessing.
And everyone got a good look at their wheel well.
I'm guessing Cliff really just wanted a couple weeks off.
I think, he's been putting in a lot of work lately.
Yeah.
A lot of motivating. Maybe he's tired, man. Maybe that Charlotte race really just wore him out. That's why he just wasn't as sharp on the box and made that wrong call. And then he's like, fuck it, leave it off. I need a break. He's getting 5 weeks off.
Yeah.
He's getting 5 whole weeks off.
They are, so what's the 6th week there? What are we getting to?
Smarter people than I would be able to answer that question.
Well, whatever that one is, that's going to start the tear of the 5 teams.
That's it. Mark it down. Mark it out. 5 weeks from now. What is it? Nashville, then fucking Road America, Atlanta, New Hampshire. That's 4 races. So what's after New Hampshire?
Watkins Glen?
No, it's in July. Is it Michigan?
Maybe. No, I don't think so. Michigan was in August last year.
Please hold 10 seconds for station identification. I'm
doing the Wii music, buddy.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Okay. I don't think we're doing the same part.
No, we're not anymore. All right, so it is going to be Pocono. Kyle Larson's going to just mollywop the field at Pocono.
That wouldn't shock me, actually.
So mark it down. That'll be the turning point. Cliff Daniels. He'll get a nice sabbatical. Go get him a nice massage. He's probably still in Sonoma. He's
Getting drunk on some wine.
yeah, he's doing some wine tasting, really just kicking back. So we'll wish Cliff a good vacation, man. We'll see you in 5 weeks.
We love you, bro.
Yeah. So Larson was out of it already, but that's going to be
more out of it after that.
Yeah, they were way more out of it after that. Speaking of pit road problems, Kevin Harvick's crew continues to be the laughing stock of pit road. They've been the laughing stock of pit road all of his career. I don't know how they've done it with 2 different teams.
Well, they're like the second worst pit crew.
Yeah. Well, third worst. You got the 2311 cars.
Yeah.
But yeah, good Lord, dude. They made it even worse. What made it worse for him is he came in directly behind the 17, and then their boxes were directly next to each other. And then you see the 17 go, and then like an hour and a half later, the 14 finally takes off.
That was bad.
Kevin said something along the lines of, we look like a bunch of wankers out there, which fucking kudos to Kevin, man. Just
love the verbiage.
Throwing out love the vocab.
Love the W word.
Yeah. Out of Kevin. He ended up coming back. He finished 4th. Solid day for Kevin. Probably one of the better races he's had all year overall.
Yeah.
He kind of drove. He fucked up his qualifying lap because he's Kevin Harvick. And then drove through the field and ended up 4th. 3rd was Michael McDowell. He had a career day, or that's what people are saying. I thought the Daytona 500 win was a career day, but I don't know what I'm talking about most of the time.
He led for like 300 feet under green, so probably.
Yeah,
that's
probably.
why.
Yeah. Michael McDowell finished 3rd. Cool.
Whatever,
Chris Buescher, though, finished 2nd, flips at Charlotte, gets COVID, and then comes back, still sniffly, too. I took notice of that. And comes back and finishes 2nd. Gave Suarez a run for his money, bro.
Any other day, man, I'd have been pulling for Chris Buescher to get her done.
Yeah. It was I think you got to look at him to be a threat on these coming up road courses like Road American, Watkins Glen, because I mean Chris has been solid on road courses. He's got a win on one at Mid Ohio, and I think he's really carrying the flag for RFK.
Yeah, I mean RFK had a good
flag
day today.
Flag ain't being held high, but it's being carried.
But like RFK had a pretty good day today or yesterday, and Brad was
spin out at all that I know of.
Brad was like what 12th?
I don't know. I remember he was there. He was there. He was in the race.
I keep forgetting Brad Keselowski's in the race. I'll be completely honest.
We knew it yesterday.
Yeah.
So all of this chaos and all of these other cast of characters, none of them had anything for Daniel Suarez, which the man had a hell of a drive on Saturday. Kyle Busch wins the truck race, but I think the drive of the day has to be Daniel. And like he subbed for Carson Hocevar, got in the truck 10 laps. They totally flubbed the driver change.
That was terrible.
2 laps down, comes back from 2 laps down, runs through the field, finishes 6th in the truck race for Hocevar, and then drives the race of his life yesterday. I mean, he was top 5 all race long. And then 50 to go, somewhere around about, right, is when he took the lead.
Yeah, somewhere right after stage 2.
And it was his race to win and his race to lose. And he had everything go right, finally. I mean, we've seen Suarez. He's made some mistakes, but he's had some shit luck. And I think that's a lot of people underestimate that. I mean, I can think of Charlotte, they wrecked at Charlotte. They probably did the wrong strategy. The crew. Thank you. The crew totally fucks up. They got on kind of the wrong strategy at Coda and got spun out, and then power steering went out on his car. And just there's Bristol leading the damn dirt race, and rain is on top of the track and it just won't rain at the right time for him.
Yeah.
And there's many, I mean, probably had one of the best cars at Talladega, got wrecked. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
he's led over 200 laps this year, more than he has in his entire career combined. And he finally has found a home at Trackhouse. I mean, Daniel Suarez, obviously, probably a lot of you know, but if you don't know, my mother is the biggest Daniel Suarez fan of the world, or at least it seems like it. She started pulling for him in, I guess, 16. And it was right when Junior, or she started pulling for him kind of that year, and then it really ratcheted up when Junior had his concussion. She was a big Junior fan. And so that's when she started paying attention to Daniel. He gets into the Cup Series, gets thrown into the Cup Series after winning that Xfinity Championship. And I think people underestimate like that. People think, oh, well, he's getting into a championship caliber car in that 19 car when Carl retired. That's not the case. I mean, he's only in second year in Xfinity when he wins the championship. And really only fourth year in America?
Something like that. That, and then the situation, there was so much turnover the whole time he was at JGR. Like,
he had 3 different crew chief changes in the 2 years he was at JGR.
Yeah. And then
it's like he didn't do terrible.
And then JGR is already like, it's already it's not a great situation.
There's never been 4 good JGR cars except for the 15 and 16. That was it.
That and it's like, immediately, like, hey, if I don't win like now, I'm probably out of a ride. And that cannot be good for the psyche.
No, that and the fact that like literally he found out a month before the season, he was the entire offseason, I'm going to go win another Xfinity championship. And a month before the season starts, no, you're going to run for a Cup. You're going to run in Cup. And I mean, he put together some decent runs in Cup, showed some promise. And then in 18, I mean, they kind of fell off the wagon. They went through a couple crew chief changes. No consistency. He's never had consistency in his career.
Yeah.
I mean, goes to Stuart Haas, gets a year there. Then they cut bait because Cole Custer has the year of his life in Xfinity. Then, I mean, dude, he was at Gaunt Brothers Racing. Didn't have the heart to tell my mother that was the end of his career. Like, that was, I think we all knew it. We all thought that was going to be it for him.
It felt like it, yeah.
I mean, he had crew chief changes, situations be damned. I mean, he didn't. It seemed like he had his shot, and that was kind of game over for him. And he ran respectable in Gaunt Brothers equipment. I mean, he ran not as good as anybody else. Gave him a couple decent runs, and that was apparently enough. Somehow, some way.
Justin Marks noticed.
Cool. But yeah, I mean, he gets picked up by Trackhouse, and immediately you could see it. I mean, they just take off. I mean, it was a slow burn, but I mean, you could just tell there was something there for Daniel. I mean, he, led all those laps at Bristol. He had a couple other great runs throughout the season, and you could tell if they could just clean up the mistakes, they could be a playoff contending team. And then obviously this year they popped off.
Yeah, I mean, from the beginning with Trackhouse, you could tell it was going to eventually work.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, it was obvious it wasn't going to be immediate, but you could tell that it was going to get to that point. And we saw it from Fontana this year. We've seen that it's going to get to that point. They could have won that race. Obviously, it didn't happen for them. We've seen 3-4 other times where it could have happened for them. Yeah. I mean, Charlotte to me was their big, the 99 team's big. We have arrived. You are going to have to deal with us from here on out.
Yeah.
And it kind of took a back seat because Ross has really done well. But like the wins for Ross, like I don't know, people are making too big of a deal about the wins for Ross, comparing it to Daniel. He won Coda by dumping his way into the win. And then Talladega, where everybody fucking crashed.
Yeah, the seas parted for him.
Toward him.
Yeah.
Nothing
but
against Ross. He's done a great job this year. He's been
and that's the thing. He's put himself in a lot better positions than Daniel. Like he's been running top 5 more consistently.
Yeah.
I think it's just interesting to me, just to back up a little bit. It's like Daniel said when he got with Trackhouse that this was the best opportunity he'd ever had. I think a lot of people questioned that a lot. Brett Moffitt in particular. But I think what he saw was this is a team that is 100% solely focused on me, and they are going to try to win. They're here to win. Yeah. Gaunt Brothers, yeah, they were focused on Daniel. They were trying to just get their feet wet. They had never run a full season before. They were running with 6 to 7 year old cars. Whereas Trackhouse was, we have this alliance with RCR. We're going to build good cars. We're here to win. And I think that attention on Daniel was really what he needed, because I felt like he was always the backseat at Gibbs. Stuart Haas, Billy Scott, I'll say it to this day, is one of the worst crew chiefs I've ever seen. Like he is Chad Johnson level terrible. The only person he's ever, is he with Kurt Busch right now?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only person he's ever done anything with. Everybody else, he's been absolutely dog shit. I cannot tell you how many times Daniel was at Stuart Haas where he'd be on the cool down lap and Billy Scott would be like, man, I made the wrong call today, man. I'm sorry, man. We should have finished a lot better. It's like, how many times do you got to fucking say that, bro?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, he was always either on the way out of somewhere, or just, it was like, he's this thing in the back of the corner that we got to deal with. And when he got the Trackhouse, like I said, the intention was there, the focus was there, and he could focus on building a team instead of just worrying about whether the team's behind him or not.
Yeah.
And it proves it this year. I mean, it's insane what Trackhouse has done. It is like, no one saw this. No one saw it. I thought maybe they'd even take a step down this year, even as decent as they were last year. I thought maybe they'd take a step down just because now they're on their own. I mean, yeah, the next gen car was the equalizer, but I thought it could be a possibility.
I didn't see that. This is like, we said it a few weeks ago. The Trackhouse is every single thing that the 2311 should be right now.
Yes.
They are exactly what 2311 should be right now. And it's awesome to see at least one of these new teams being that way. But like from the get-go, I loved the vibe I was getting from Trackhouse. Yeah. Justin Marks is, I mean, first of all, he's a racer at heart. Like, we know that.
He's worried about drivers and people more than money.
Yeah, I mean, like from the first time they talked to him, it's like, man, it's about the process. It's not about the results right now.
Yeah.
All this, it's the way you go about it, because they could have sat there last year and worried about the results, and that wasn't what was important last year.
Yeah. And
now here they are, and they're getting the results because they sat there and they worried about the process. And they worked on, and they nurtured Daniel. I'll put it that way. I don't know if that's the right way to put it.
No, that's fair.
Yeah. They nurtured Daniel, bring in Ross, and it's going to be a fantastic pairing for years now. I feel
we've said it. We've said that they could potentially be this, but now they are this. They are the best team in Cup right now. Yeah. They are the best team in Cup. And I was just, I was talking to Mom about this the other day. I was like, once Daniel wins, the floodgates are going to open because those cars are too fast. He's putting himself in position too many times. I mean, you really in the Cup Series, people underestimate. You have to, and this is what Tyler Reddick's going through right now. You could finish second, but here's the thing. There's, you got the gap from finishing top 20, finishing top 15, finishing top 10, finishing top 5. And then there's that same gap from finishing second to first. It is a big gap. But once you get there, once you win, once you learn how to win once, it is way easier to win again. We saw Chase Elliott, for instance. As good as that team was, they just could not get luck on their side. They could not put all the pieces together to win. As soon as he won, he started clicking them off one after one after one. And I think that's something we're going to see out of Tyler Reddick, and I think that's something we're going to see out of Daniel Suarez. I think that Ross is running top 5 every week. He's going to click off a couple more wins. If they can clean up the mistakes on the 99 team, there's no reason why Daniel Suarez cannot go into the playoffs as one of the top seeds. There's no reason why he can't.
No,
they
absolutely.
have the cars. They are only getting stronger.
And on top of that, everything's starting to level out. I know we got a new winner this week, but the past 2 weeks we've had repeat winners.
Yeah.
We were looking at it again. Now we've got both Trackhouse cars with wins.
Yeah.
They're clearly showing themselves to be one of the best teams. It's going to start leveling out.
They are the best. I'm not going to settle for this. One of the best. They are the best. They are the best team in NASCAR.
My only thing, maybe right now, my only thing is I don't know if they have I guess back catalog would be the way to put it.
No, yeah.
For me to think that they're going to be the best, say, starting at the playoffs.
That's
and
what
maybe
I'm worried,
at the beginning of next year. But they'll get back there, I think. I think they will.
I think, you make a good point about the playoffs because it's you have to have the playoffs so much is a lot about experience.
Yeah.
You do have to have that experience, and nobody in that team has playoff experience.
Yeah.
Nobody. Travis Mack, Phil Surgeon, Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez, Justin Marks, Trackhouse Racing. Nobody there has that experience. The only person that does is Ty Norris, and that was a whole clusterfuck with MWR.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an obstacle, but there's no reason why they've said it. Why not us? There's no reason to believe. I mean, they've shocked us all year long, ever since they came into the sport. There's no reason why they can't put the pieces together. I mean, and if they can execute, I think they can put both cars in the round of 8 at least.
I think they can.
I think if
this
there's
year's
not
playoffs,
a Trackhouse car in the championship 4, I will be surprised.
Well, that makes one of us. I think this year's playoffs is going to be a bit of a humbling experience for the Trackhouse team.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be what propels them to be championship favorites next year.
Yeah.
But I think this is all a part of the growing process. And I think they're going to get hit hard a little bit in that growing process, but they're going to get there next year, the year after. They are going to be championship favorites.
You know what this kind of reminds me of? And this kind of pokes a hole in my theory. It kind of reminds me of Kyle Larson in 2017.
Okay.
When he popped off with Ganassi, and it was like, okay, this is the Kyle Larson that we've been waiting for. And then he got in the playoffs and he didn't have that playoff experience. He'd made the playoffs the year before, but this is the first time they've been competitive, and they didn't. Obviously, they had some issues. Hendrick sabotaged their engines 100%. I'm
100%.
Yeah. But yeah, they got in the playoffs and they just didn't execute.
Yeah.
So
I don't even then, like, I don't think they were as far off as maybe it feels in hindsight. Like Charlotte,
Seth, we get it. Kyle Larson's good. It's fine. Kyle Larson's good.
Kyle should have won Charlotte in 2017. I'm still upset about it.
Martin Truex was going to kick everybody's ass.
It's fine.
And he did. But yeah, it kind of does remind me of that. But if they can put those pieces together, there's no reason why one of them can't make the championship 4.
The difference is too, that year it wasn't a team. It was Kyle. Jamie wasn't anywhere, really.
Jamie McMurray wasn't a race car driver.
That's fair. But my point is like Jamie had a couple years where he was really good, so he could do it in the right circumstance. It wasn't Ganassi as a whole that was really good that year. It was Kyle and Chad Johnston.
Yeah, but that's not really the point. That
The point,
I'm just
no,
saying.
my point is, you're not letting me finish. My point is, it's Trackhouse as a whole that's been this good. So that's like the only thing I can poke a hole in with you. No?
Yeah, it doesn't change. Doesn't change anything.
I mean, I still agree
at
with
least.
I still agree with my original point that this year's playoffs is going to be a humbling experience for them.
No, yeah, I get what you're saying, but until they prove to me it is, and I believe in it. I believe that they will win. They already have. There's no reason to believe they won't again.
They're starting to remind me of Furniture Row circa 2015-16.
Yeah. A little bit, except they're just going from start to top. But I don't know.
Let's imagine that Furniture Row was created.
No, we don't need to do all that. It doesn't matter. Daniel Suarez himself, obviously a huge win for him. I mean, I think a lot of people believed in Daniel, and a lot of people didn't believe in Daniel. We've been obviously big advocates for him. A lot of bias there, clearly.
He showed us right.
Yeah. I've always believed that he could do it. I thought people didn't give him enough credit for what he did in the situation that he was in at Gibbs. I thought people didn't look at everything else at Stewart-Haas besides him. I felt like he was the second best guy that year at Stewart-Haas, but the other teams executed better.
Yeah.
And people haven't given him enough credit. And I think now that he's won, I think that Daniel Suarez is going to be that guy we talked about him being a couple weeks ago when we were talking about how he can be an A driver, at least, an A- driver at least.
Yeah.
And I think now, if anything, the pressure was already on and it was building because Ross was winning. But I think the pressure is still on because now it's like, now you've done it. Can you keep doing it? And but not to put the pressure, on right after he got his first win. Give him a couple weeks to celebrate. We definitely celebrated hard.
Just a little.
Just a little bit. We found the same piñata that Daniel had, the taco piñata, smashed the shit out of that thing. Yeah. Drank a lot of cervezas for our boy. It was a big night. It was a big night, big emotional day. I was damn a basket case.
He starts crying with like 4 or 5 laps to go. I was like, God, he's got to stop this. There's too much time left.
It was just so much, because it's like, it wasn't even me. It was more like, Mom hadn't seen her favorite driver win a race in like 7 years.
Yeah, Dale Jr. at Phoenix.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was great for that. And then also, Daniel's just the nicest dude in the world. I mean, they said it on the broad. Mike Joyce said it best. It's great when nice guys finish first. What, Seth?
I don't know. Something just made a loud noise outside.
Cool.
Anyway, I'm gonna die here. That's fine.
Anyway, I met him a lot, and he's always just been the nicest dude in the world. Gotten to build some sort of relationship with him in a sense. He's always been the guy that you see on TV is the guy that you see in person is the same guy. I mean, you 100%. Meet him and he's just like, hey dude, what's like, he's just like, hey, you like, how you doing? Like,
especially if he recognizes you.
Yeah. Like, I mean, he'll gives Mom a big hug every time he sees her. I mean, just like it couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Yeah.
And I just want so badly to see him succeed because there's not enough guys like that. And there's a lot of good guys in the sport, but he's something special as far as like character wise and just personality in the sport. And this is huge for the sport, just in general. A kid from Monterrey, Mexico comes to America 10 years ago with just a dream, and he's a Cup Series winner. He's already made history. He was the first international champion in the top 3 touring series. Now he's a winner. This is huge. This is huge for the sport. This is, people, I don't feel like people are talking about this enough. I mean, you compare it to like Bubba Wallace and how big that was for African Americans and children, kids all around the world. This is the same thing. It's huge for that demographic that's not represented enough in our sport, that now they have a winning face to that. It's just really cool. Really cool. Cheers.
Yeah,
I cheers my Coke to you, Daniel.
I would cheers my Corona, but it's out. Yeah, no, it's awesome. I don't know. I didn't even really thought about it much that way. In my eyes, it was just like, it's Daniel. He's a super cool dude, obviously for your mom.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, now you put it in that perspective.
Dude, I get what you're saying though. It's like I didn't really think about it in that perspective until just now, really, because it's just like he's just been Daniel. Like, I mean, I feel like, I don't know. There's you don't see a ton of Daniel Suarez fans, and so it's like
when you do, they're diehard though.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I feel like me and mom and a little bit of you, like we've just been hammering home, Daniel, and he's been in our spotlight for so many years, and now everyone's gonna look at him.
I mean, you can
in the same
tell,
way we've been looking at him for all these years.
You can tell if you really watch racing, which I would assume most people who are paying attention to us do.
Yeah,
if you
some
really,
people,
yeah,
some people don't.
Yeah, but I mean, if
and
you
a lot
really
of them wearing 9 shirts.
I'm not going to comment on that, but yeah. But yeah, if you really watch racing and you've watched Daniel through his whole career, you know this already. You just needed it. It's like with Tyler Reddick. Like I told your mom last night, she goes, "Can you believe Daniel won?" And I'm like, "No, I thought some bullshit was going to happen." And she got like mad at me for a second, but I was like, no, I just thought some bullshit caution was going to happen. Yeah. And then Michael McDowell was going to come out of nowhere and dump him for no reason.
Bulldozed. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's just Daniel winning to me was one of those things. Like it should absolutely happen. It should have happened 100 times, not 100 times, but several times by now. Like I love Daniel, but he's not that good. He shouldn't have 100 wins.
That'd be a hell of a win that would be literally be over 50%. But
that would be. It should have happened several times now. But it's like it didn't feel like it was real, like it was gonna happen. Like even toward the end, the couple laps toward the end, I'm like waiting on it. I'm waiting on it.
Just waiting.
And then
he took the white, and I was like,
yeah,
I was still like, it was building, but I was like, I don't know, man. Something seems fishy here.
Yeah. Oh, and I know that feeling. That was me at the Roval last year. I didn't celebrate.
Shut the fuck up. Waiting for Larson to win his fucking 13th win of the year.
I'm telling you, my point is I don't trust that anything is going to happen until it actually does. So I was,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I waited till he got into 11. Once he got into 11 and I saw it was smooth, I was like, that's it. Ball game.
Yeah. I think something that maybe some people are talking about that people need to talk more about. We are, most people, when something like this happens, what the situation I'm about to bring up happens, they want to send out like a, apology statement. And, this is not what we stand for and whatever. Daniel Suarez said, "Fuck yeah" on national TV. We here at the Big Motor Small Blade podcast 100% endorse that.
Yes.
We put our full support behind Daniel Suarez. We will continue to back him with all of our might. We are big. We are big big national TV cussing guys. Big fuck yeah guys.
I got two
Big
words.
fuck guys.
I got 2 words for that statement. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
God damn it. I wish we could call the video fuck yeah.
I'll do it, man. What's up?
Let's do it.
Yeah, but it was big day. It overshadowed what was maybe a lackluster race, but
That's okay sometimes.
yeah. But yeah, good for him.
Do we even need to
just a
go
great
into
week.
sundress? Like
We know it's him.
It's definitely Chris
Dumbass is
Buescher.
definitely. Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding. It's Daniel Suarez.
Yeah, sundress definitely Daniel. Dumbass.
Cliff Daniels.
I was gonna go with Chase Elliott, but
I'm gonna go with Cliff Daniels. I love the guy, but you gotta own it sometimes.
yeah, I feel like you could give him like co-awards.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
Chase and Cliff
just the whole
and Allen and the 9 team.
Yeah, just the 9 and 5 team. They really
They boo-booed that one.
Bitch and scale. Where are we putting this?
I'm putting this at a taco pinata.
At a taco pinata. I can't argue with that. No, sir, not one bit. And then picks. You picked Kyle Larson. I picked Alex Bowman. Did you happen to look at results and see who finished?
I'm pretty sure Alex Bowman got a top 10.
He did not. He finished 1 spot behind Kyle Larson.
Oh, he
because
did.
Fuck me. So, Alex did not win for me or beat Larson for me. That kind of sucked. But we are still better together, and don't you all forget that.
Absolutely. To quote
So
Daniel
going
Suarez,
to where are we going? Fuck yeah.
Nashville.
Nashville. Oh shit.
Yeah,
All
to
right,
quote
no
Daniel
clue.
Suarez, fuck yeah.
Nashville.
Do you want me to pick first?
Sure.
Kevin fucking Harvick.
Damn, I was kind of thinking that shit. Who have I picked? I've picked who? Bowman and Suarez.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Larson.
Okay.
Go with Larson. I feel like that's a good pick. I was waiting to save him maybe for another road course, but I feel like there's enough other road course guys that are solid. So I think
Honestly, I can't pick Kyle. That was my first thought, but yeah, I can't pick Kyle.
Yeah. So yeah, I can't wait for Kyle Larson to suck for whatever reason this weekend because fuck
Next
me. Next weekend. Not even next weekend. The weekend after. We got an off weekend. What the fuck are we gonna do next week? We'll figure it out.
I view this weekend as the
Mom
coming
told us
weekend.
she would come. Mom told us she would come on the pod if Suarez won. So I think she owes us that.
Yeah, I mean, we got nothing going on next weekend.
Yep. So possible Big Motor Mom appearance on the podcast next week. At least maybe a hello
Probably
or something.
not.
We'll try.
We'll get her on the phone at bare minimum. How about that?
Exactly. Other than that, there's an off weekend. I hate off weekends. This sucks.
I don't mind them occasionally. Since we only get 1 or 2 a year now, it's like, yeah, it's not too bad.
I still hate off weekends. But
yeah, fair enough.
Pitbull said, I believe that we will win. I believe that we just won.
All right. That has been the Big Motor Small Blade podcast. I've been Seth Dolby. He's been Buddy Pulley. And we'll see you next week with something we're not 100% sure yet. But then we will see you again back for Nashville. And goodbye.